Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I have my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, obviously, almost forgot. And we are going to talk about Bitcoin today and why Bitcoin did pump. And also, we are going to answer some, let's say, some FUD about Bitcoin that are saying, hey, look, ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs are not such a big deal. Because there are already ETFs in Canada, Australia, in Europe, and they also had no impact on the Bitcoin price. So we are going to answer that with clear evidence why this is still a big deal and why this is not the same, and why this is going to pour billions and trillions into the market and make the price rally as most people are not going to or are not expecting at all. We are going to look at the charts. We're going to look at Veve and Ecomi. And we're having a good time together today because we are in the, more likely than not, in the approval phase of the Bitcoin spot ETF. And I think 100% we are we are driving. By the way, did I fuck up something, or why is I see that Dino Dragon is here and also Mark D is here, but it shows something weird on my chat. So make sure to let me know in the chat if you can see this. And while that is happening, I will quickly check on the side if I did everything right here. I think I did. Okay, so good. Smash up the like button, and we're going to talk right after the intro. So, where's my face? There is my face. Welcome, and good morning. So, guys, make sure to smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are hyped about Bitcoin, obviously. And looks and sounds good here. Thank you, Mark D, for that. Let's have a good coffee together. We have some small changes. By the way, I have to get my face a little bit smaller because we have a new, right above me there, we have a new rare hodler, which is Marivane. And she is number 27 here. So there are only there are only two sub 30 mints in my rare hodler family. So welcome. This is exciting. And if you want to support me in this way, you can become a channel member. It doesn't cost much per month. You can become a rare hodler, get into the Telegram group and talk with all the others, like Jonas here, for example, and Felipe and everyone that you see here, right? So we have a nice little Telegram group there where we are sharing exclusive ideas about not only about Ecomi and Veve, but about altcoin, degen altcoins, very low cap altcoins. We have some very interesting thoughts in there. But other than that, if you don't, just smash a like button, and we're just getting started here with the good content. So Bitcoin and ETFs. And let me start this so we can wake up with a small thing from Jim Cramer, which is probably the reason why we are going to go to beyond 200,000. So listen to this.
Digital.
What are we doing with these? Let's stop fooling around. If you want Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's topping out, by the way. So I'm going to say enough is enough, and ka-ching is ka-ching. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the conclusion of the lightning round.
Are we awake right now? So that was Jim Cramer saying that Bitcoin is topping out, and we all know, or that Bitcoin has topped out. He says sell Bitcoin for the, I don't know, fourth time throughout this run up that we had from 15,000 to here. And every time he says that, he's basically wrong. So there is a meme for everyone who doesn't know it. Inverse Cramer, right? This guy here. So every time he says it's topping out, it's going down, he would recommend that everyone moves out of it and so on. Basically, he's wrong, right? So if he's saying this right now, he's probably completely wrong. and then probably tomorrow we get the ETF approval or something like that, and we might pump directly to 58,000 or I don't know what, and then inverse Cramer is correct once again. So always when he's getting bullish, then you need to be cautious, right? But yeah, that's basically the inverse Cramer meme. But let's get to the real reason why Bitcoin did pump yesterday, and that is the reason here. Gary Gensler posted a thread. Some things to keep in mind if you're considering investing in crypto assets. So that in itself from Gary Gensler shows he's not fudding here, right? He knows that the approval is coming and that he has now the chance to warn investors one more time and to really do what he's supposed to do, and basically preparing everyone for what is to come. So if people get wrecked on Bitcoin ETF because the volatility could be still high after the ETF is coming out, then he at least said it. That's how I interpret it. So he says in this small thread, investments in crypto assets also can be exceptionally risky and are often volatile. A number of major platforms and crypto assets have become insolvent and or lost value. Investments in crypto assets continue to be subject to significant risk. I could copy that as a disclaimer into my videos because he's not wrong. He's really not wrong. So this is one of the few times where I would say I totally agree with Gary Gensler here, right? That's absolutely based. And if you remember FTX and 3 Arrow Capital and Voyager and whatnot, yes, some of these platforms have gone down in flames. And then fraudsters continue to exploit the rising popularity of crypto assets to lure retail investors into scams. Also, that is correct, but it's a very one-sided view. These investments continue to be replete with fraud, bogus coin offerings, Ponzi and pyramid schemes, and outright theft, where a project promoter disappears with investors' money. So that is the threat, and I think so people got bullish because it basically means, hey, look, guys, I'm warning you one more time, be careful, and now go out and play. Like a mother that says, hey, but be careful, I don't want to see broken arms and legs when you're, I don't know, jumping with bicycles over hills. And now go out and play, right? So that is how I interpret it and how people interpreted it, which led to this nice, beautiful green candle. Broke to the upside, closed above, and now we are in this, somewhere close to this golden pocket zone for Bitcoin. And here's another thing. And now, if you are with me since here or since longer than the Bitcoin bottom, and you have done everything with me, you know that this target of 46,000 is around since I think at least March. I have to go back on my videos and check that actually. But if you had this target also, and if you were believing in that and accumulating and buying Bitcoin, then give yourself a high five. I hope that was not too loud. Give yourselves a high five because we just hit this target. And this target, if you remember, came from this cup and something like that. Yeah, this cup and handle. Remember when we talked about this cup and handle here, and then we took the measured move, and the measured move gave us somewhat this target, and we went a little bit more conservative on this target, but we almost hit it to the T right now, and always in this upwards move, right? So very good stuff that we have hit this target. I have to say we did not hit all of the targets because I don't know if it will still come, but I had before, I deleted it somehow, but I had before, we can put this in again because I think it's not out of the cards yet. I mean, it could happen still. Where is it? I don't know why I deleted it, but we had a target at somewhere here, which the downside target, which was because of the CME gap, and the CME gap still did not close. So technically there is an open CME gap down here at 39,000-ish, and it did not close. So on the downside targets, I have to critically admit I was too bearish for Bitcoin. But yeah, that's basically that. So let's see what Mark said here. By the way, Jonas, good morning. Once again, I only mentioned your name in the rare hodler thing. And G-Money, good morning to you, bringing coffee and charts to us. Absolutely. And Mark D. Inverse Cramer, the best Bitcoin buy signal in existence. Seeing Gensler speak truth is jarring and unexpected. So yeah, that is it. Before we go a little bit more to what we can expect right now for Bitcoin, let's look at something else that I found here for you. And that is, we have talked about this yesterday, right? And it has changed already a little bit more. So this is the overview for, I get myself a little bit out of the face. This is the overview for all of the Bitcoin spot ETFs refilings and conversions, right? So a lot of them refiled after the BlackRock, after the SEC told BlackRock what to do, and then they did several amendments, S1 filings and 16B-4 or whatever. And now what happens is, so the updates, as you can see here on the right, the most recent filings are from yesterday for all of them except hashtags. So, and hashtags doesn't really matter because it's the smallest asset manager of them all. They only have 500 million. So if hashtags doesn't get it right away, it's not a big deal. But what is really important right now is the fees. So the fees, we talked yesterday about what the fees mean, but the fees have been cut. So the fees after waiver are the ones that are important. So we have here Grayscale 1.5, and then, but they didn't really use it yet. And then, by the way, something is happening. My chat does not. Yeah, it does. Okay, so yeah, greetings from Heidelberg. Smash it if you want Kara to rip. Yeah, absolutely. Smash the like button, please. No matter if you want that to rip or not, but yeah, let's make that rip so that Green Lantern gets a moon bag. No, just kidding. But the fees, there is a race to the bottom right now. So all of the asset managers are competing now with the fees because they want to attract a lot of users into their product, into their financial product, right? So what they have right now is 0.25 fee after, I think it was 0.8 or so, 0.3 here, 0.24, like 0.01 under. And obviously, if you are investing, you're looking at the where can I get the lowest fee? That's where you go, right? Because this fee will determine how your exponential growth over the years would look like. So we see here 2.5 and 50 and 31 and 0.8 was, some of them did not readjust the fees yet, but I think they will, maybe today even, to offer lower fees, and they can still readjust the fees afterwards, I think. So now, what I said in the beginning of the live stream is, people are saying, hey, look, all these ETFs, it doesn't matter, right? Because we already have Bitcoin ETFs outside of Europe, and it didn't do anything for, or in Europe and APAC and so on, and it didn't do anything for the price. So I found this very nice tweet, and it explains why the ETFs in the US are different from the EU and why it still matters. So Bitcoin ETFs in the US versus ETPs, ETCs in Europe. So while several Bitcoin ETFs are about to be approved in the US, EU investors won't be able to invest in these. In general, in contrast with the US, EU ETFs, UCITS, I always call it UCITS, but it's UCITS, cannot be used for single assets like Bitcoin or gold. So in Europe, an ETF always has at least 2 shares, like 2 different things, and combines them, right? So and if it's only a single one, then it's an ETP. Instead, Bitcoin exchange traded products, ETPs, particularly exchange traded commodities and exchange traded notes, have existed in Europe for years, but the largest Bitcoin ETC has a fund size of only 1 billion euro. So US ETFs generally have lower fees than the EU UCITS funds, but the difference between the future SEC approved US Bitcoin ETF fees and the current Bitcoin ETP ETN fees in Europe are even more striking. So this is important now. We have just talked about the fees. The average total expense ratio of the 10 largest existing ETPs, ETNs in Europe is 1.047, while the average fee after waiver for the 10 Bitcoin ETFs in the US, in the overview below, and that is what we were just looking at, is less than half of that, only 0.451. So this TER, this total expense ratio, is super important for ETFs. Like if you make the calculation of an ETF development, the total expense ratio is one of the most important things to base your decision on, together with the mix of what's in that ETF for investors to decide if they go into an ETF or not. So having less than half of that is super, super, super important. Okay. In addition to being over twice as expensive compared to the US ETFs, ETPs are structured as debt securities. And this is very important now. Listen carefully. This implies that the invested capital does not constitute separate capital that can be safeguarded in case of issuer's insolvency. Investors in ETCs, ETNs therefore may lose the money invested if the issuer or investment company is insolvent. In Europe, they may lose all that money in Europe. In contrast, capital invested in an ETF is protected. All in all, while it took the US a few years to catch up, if these Bitcoin ETFs are approved as expected, US investors will have much cheaper and much safer options for Bitcoin-based security products than EU investors. As a consequence, and due to the fact that US capital markets are much bigger in general, US Bitcoin ETFs will immediately and completely dwarf their EU ETP ETN counterparts in terms of size. And that kills the entire argument for the people that are saying, yeah, these products are already out in Europe and it's only 1 billion and it will not move the needle on the price. So let's recap. The fees, the security of the safety of the invested capital, and the size of the US market are the 3 determining factors that we did not have yet. In total crypto, the US capital market is making up around 95% of the entire volume in crypto. It's coming from the US. So that in itself shows this to you. So it will be very lucrative to go into these ETFs. We see it in the fees. It will be safe on all fronts for the investors, and it will be coming from a big financial market. So this is the most important thing I think to know when it comes down to the ETFs. Now you know, and now the 10 people that are here, I don't know why today it's only 10 and not 20, smash up the like button so that we get some more people in here. But now you know, and if you're just joining right now, then go back these 5 minutes and watch that part, or read the tweet here from Patrick Hansen, because I think this is, like, you have an edge if you know this, right? It's really financial knowledge, financial intelligence if you know this stuff. If you already knew it, congratulations. I did not before that. And then there's one more important thing or interesting thing that is happening, and this is this one here. So here's someone has sent $1.2 million to Satoshi wallet to see to do something, right? To reveal, allegedly to reveal Satoshi's identity. Why? Because so this lawyer here thinks that under the new capital law, Satoshi would have to reveal his identity, but we will see that probably this is not going to happen. But anyways, it's interesting, right? So why? The only thing that makes sense is that the sender is flushing Satoshi out. Under the new IRS rules, you have to report any receipt of crypto over $10,000. So Satoshi has to dox himself or break the law. I don't know why that would be then necessary to send 1.2 million, maybe to make the size significant, but here we see effective date. The amendment made by this section shall apply to returns required to be filled and statements required to be furnished after December 31st, 2023. Now we are just in the new year and someone sent 1.2 million to Satoshi. The risk here, obviously, for that person is that Satoshi is not in the US and this law doesn't apply, right? Even if it applies, Satoshi, so this would, I think it doesn't even apply, because how would that work for someone who lost his seed phrase? If I sent over $10,000 to that person would have to constantly check their wallet, even though they lost everything, just to be able to not to incriminate themselves. So they would have to yearly check their wallet, that all their wallets that they ever created, if there's not suddenly a wrongly sent amount on that wallet or so. So I don't think this will ever happen. I think it's just interesting that people are trying to flush out Satoshi. Anyways, I think he or she or whatever would rather incriminate themselves than actually report this and dox themselves. That would not happen. I mean, you would have to fear for your life, right? Good morning, MVE, and good morning, Luke. How are you doing? I hope you're doing fine. I hope your Bitcoin stacks are looking fine. Smash up the like button. Now we're getting people in here, so the likes really work, guys. You have to like the video so that we have more people in here to watch the stuff. Let's look at the markets really quick. So we see on the day, altcoins are recovering a little bit, but on the week we're still down. So this is still a dip in the altcoin market, and the reason for that is probably that capital gains and so on, profit taking is flowing into Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin today a little bit reddish, as we have seen already. And Bitcoin is now in this zone, is hitting the head on 47,000, and we are having here at 48,000 a big overhead resistance once again, which is this so to say retest after collapsing into the bear market. So I expect Bitcoin to have troubles to breach through this, although probably this will go like butter when we are getting the Bitcoin ETF. Now, I'm still divided between whether we get a sell-off after the announcement or we're getting another big pump. I think at first the price will react green like this, because we are seeing these reactions based to hints that is coming. What is still a possibility, and we have to be very, very careful, there is still a possibility of the SEC somehow finding a way to delay that thing until the final deadline, which is in March. And then, from where we are right now, this could be a drop on to this price point of 31,000. It is a very small possibility, but it would be a 30% drop. It would be not out of the ordinary. It would cool off all indicators, and it would coincide with all of the previous cycles. So let's look at the cycle here. Yeah, so it would not be out of the ordinary to have such a pullback, just as we did here. Here, or even if we say we are already here, then yeah, that was a 20% one, but I mean, it could be imaginable that we are really having a pullback like this, like 30%. It would not kill the bull market, or the bears would come out one more time before they get completely wrecked, and so on. Yo, Jordan, what is going on? How was your Ecomi-verse stream yesterday? I was not able to tune in, unfortunately, but I will take a look today. If you are not subscribed to Jordan, then you're missing out on all the good Ecomi talks with content creators. So make sure to subscribe to his channel as well after the stream. I hope you're doing right. I hope it doesn't hurt too much that Ecomi is not moving, but I think if you are having 100 million Ecomi, then it still hurts a little bit in the pocket, right? So yeah, speaking of which, I think we can skip the altcoin part for today, because we have not really any news. Yeah, maybe let's look at one quick thing. It's recovering a little bit, but it's still not there yet. So we could have some more downside for altcoins, right? So this is the entire accumulation of altcoins except the top 5. There's nothing new. We discussed it yesterday in the live stream. Jordan says, it was intense between Ron from Ron's Cryptotherapy and CryptoRain and all the others. Good fun. That's worth a watch if you got time, or listen in the car. Yeah, that might, or listen at work while I prepare some stuff where I don't have to have 2 phones on my head talking to customers all the time. But yeah, that could be a possibility. Let's look at the Ecomi. Ecomi, I think, is doing some interesting stuff here. Let me quickly refresh. Okay. Because, I mean, you know that we have this trend line now since since last year. Now we can say last year, right? Since last year, November, I think we drew this in, because it made significant touch points, and now without readjusting, without redrawing, it basically backtested this trend line 2 times, yeah, and it bounced a little bit. So we are a little bit green here on a bounce, and this overall, I mean, we see this is not the overwhelming trend line, but it is a trend, yeah, that is going technically on from, if we're taking the candle bodies, so technically we would have to say it goes on from June 23 already, this uptrend. And we will see how it, or in what it will converge. But the fact that we formed a slightly higher high here, and that we said, okay, this is the reversal at this point, and this trend line tells me that more likely than not, we are going to form a mega, slope into the altcoin season that is about to follow, right? So something like this, curving out like this, right? So if that would happen exactly like I drew it in, something like that, ramping up and going higher, this would bring us up here only to the end of 2024. We know that Ecomi is going to probably only do really well in the NFT season, which is going to be in 2025. We will see. What we cannot have, and where I would get really bearish, is if we lose this trend line. If we would lose this trend line, I would be very bearish. I mean, we have also this double bottom scenario here, right? So where we have the 2 touch points right at this, there must be a major buy order here or something like that, where every time we drop into this, someone buys it. Overall, what does this mean? If we get all these rounding phenomenons, right? So it's rounding out. This is usually something bullish. We see it in other altcoins when this happens. And it is the price behavior that we have here is whale driven. It's whale games. There's lower liquidity, and whales can trade a bigger range, yeah, as we see here. And maybe they are forming something like this to form a huge bottom where they're packing the bags to then dump on retail once the accumulation is done. Now, what do we need? We need crypto XR to send it. That's basically what we are needing, what we need for Ecomi. I have to say, Ecomi is now the worst performer in my entire portfolio of significant bags, or it is already since a couple of weeks, by far. So Ecomi is the worst performer by far. Even though I brought my average down quite a bit from where I initially went into Ecomi. And it is the reason why my portfolio is not looking juicy, because it basically the position loss, I mean, it makes up a little bit more than 10% of my portfolio. The position loss is offsetting at the moment a good part of the other altcoin gains. So just that for transparency reasons. I will still hold my Ecomi bag, but I will not add significantly to the position. Why? Because it already makes up more than 10% of my portfolio, and I do not feel the need to have more than 10% like an Ecomi overweight dragging my portfolio down. Plus, if it rallies, it will take up way more than 10%. So let's say it doubles, right, in a short period of time in price, which would bring us to 1.2 or so, like somewhat up here. Then I will still be fine with my portfolio, right? So don't look at total numbers, look at how much it makes up for your portfolio. That would be my non-financial advice. But let's look at what is coming to Veve now. And there is an article, interview with davidyu, that I did not mention in the last stream, but I wanted to discuss with you guys here. And there's one important thing here, that is what's next in terms of brands or IP that you are targeting. And he says, we continue to be developing new vertical products to align with what we are doing. And again, they are all IP related. So he doesn't want to have any speculation about other stuff. We're moving into the category of music and the category of gaming. So these two verticals, we knew that they were coming, is nothing new, but right now we're getting the first collectibles in the category, in the direction of music. It's not yet music playing as far as I can recall from what I will show you in a second, but it is going in the direction of music. And he says here further, I think there is going to be a new category coming out for people collecting music they love, but it will be through a digital collectible way. For example, when I was in university, my dream was to own a jukebox. So you can imagine, as a collector, we are going to be releasing a beautiful jukebox, and then you can start buying digital records. It's going to be vinyl records, but digital it's going to be digital vinyl records, so you can start listening to the music and you'll own one of these rare records with the album cover. It has your serial numbers on it. It has the year it was minted as a digital collectible, and you can play it. So you have utility value. Furthermore, Veve has a range of vehicles. We released the Lamborghini Murcielago over the weekend, so you could buy music, put it in the car, and it will play as you control the car. As you control the car. So there is something in here, and we know usually when they are saying stuff like that, advanced stuff like that, and when you're seeing the reality of what you have seen until now, that sounds like a lot of gaslighting, right? But he's just saying, yeah, put it in the car, control the car. Okay, so we know that we can drive around the car in a showroom. but playing music in it would have to mean that you can combine the music NFT with the car NFT. So you are all these. So there are all these new verticals that people will go into. That's how people in the digital world flex. People buy Rolex watches in real life because they wear them to go out and show I got a Rolex. People who live in the digital world, they go, well, I own this digital Lamborghini, and more people are doing that. So the flex is very important, and the ability to flex is very important. Now, let's look at the things that are coming right now. Yesterday, Veve announced this here. Boop Oop a Doop, yeah. Betty Boop is a timeless icon, performing since her debut in 1930. This series of digital collectibles celebrates Betty's love of music and dance, no matter the genre. 4 collectibles dropping on Sunday in 5 days already. So this is not something that they saved up for CryptoXR. This is something that's happening already. Now, this is a digital collectible, not a record. The record is probably coming afterwards, but it is, first of all, new license. This is always good to see, a new license, because this is from 2024 Fleischer Studios Inc. We did not have that license on the app yet. And the next thing that I wanted to highlight is that Sergio posted is we cannot forget. So remember when we just read in the article that it's about controlling the vehicle and music NFTs. Here is the partnership that they had a while ago, right, with Vive Studios. Some people might have forgotten about Veve's partnership with Vive Studios, a South Korean art tech company specializing in visual AI-based metaverse contents. With the Vision Pro releasing next month, it all makes sense. I hope you are ready for the Vivverse. So, again, they are specializing in visual AI-based metaverse contents. davidyu is talking about controlling cars and connecting NFTs with cars. I hope that this is not all bullshitting. I hope that some of that is coming throughout 2024 and that it gets people excited about Veve and the Ecomi token. And the most important thing is that while the Vivverse is coming out, that there's something happening for the Ecomi token, right? So we see that they have all these partnerships and brands, but the most important thing is that the Ecomi token is connected to all the good stuff that davidyu is talking about, right? And that is a missing link for me, because at the moment it doesn't do anything, right? It gives you now tickets that we don't know what we know they are for specific crafting events, so you probably can then generate or craft some specific collectibles that you can then sell for higher prices in the market. So it allows you to take advantage of the market probably. And therefore you have to lock up Omi. And once that is out, then Omi has a little bit of utility. But we're not there yet. We're very far from being there yet. It's already almost middle of January, and we are headed to the end of, or we are not headed to the end of, but we are in the Q1. And something for Omi needs to happen in this Q1 that goes beyond that, in my opinion. Jordan says, all G-Money. I hope, G-Money says, I hope the music is high quality, lossless format, not some compressed MP3. Also, ability to play while app is minimized. Yeah, that I hope so as well. I don't know how they will do it in terms of like that you can really use that as, like, for example, if you have that you can play it for others, or I don't know what. So I really don't know how they did it, but we will see and find out. But I hope so, that the high quality thing is very important. Yeah. Jordan says that would be interesting. I don't think they have sounds outside the app at the moment. So I think with there are NFTs with sounds, right? So for example, the Disneyland things, and right now you cannot. What you can do is if you have it on the web app, I think you can be in another tab and it still plays. But on the mobile, I don't know. Yeah, so that is definitely an interesting thing. Okay. Yeah, and then also this from 4th of January, but I didn't mention it, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but Ecomi also posted the team at Epico Regal is hosting a tournament later this month, which includes a prize pool of 1 million OMI tokens. So you can, by playing, it's like play to earn, you can get some OMI tokens. And they are also burning some OMI tokens according to what they responded to me a while ago. Make sure to check out Epico Regal and register to participate. Epico Regal now has their own token. They are building out somewhat like a metaverse. I think the looks are not bad, but the game was somewhat a little bit boring, the tower defense game, but some people that are really excited about tower defense, they still play it. Overall, it's already 4 days ago that Ecomi posted something. I don't like that at all. I think Foster should be posting every day, no matter if this is something, something different. I think as we see here, right? So there's a gap between. I don't like that when I research altcoins. I don't like that at all. So he needs to be more creative about what to post about. He can remind people of Discord. He can look at one by one exchange. For example, where OMI is on. So for example, say, hey, look, OMI can be obtained in this way on Uniswap. OMI can be obtained in this way there. Post some tutorials. But I think you need to have something every day to post every day, so that you get engagement, that the algorithm catches Ecomi, that people are aware that this project is well and alive. Yeah, at least that is the impression. And yeah, so something like that, right? So Happy New Year. Obviously, you cannot have Happy New Year now again, but it's just a reason to post something. It's really necessary that they do this. And then even if we have criticized, they are retweeting. Yeah, okay, then retweet the music stuff right now from Veve, right? It's still better than nothing if you don't have anything to present. But you cannot leave this, today is the 9th. That is 5 days ago. 5 days inactivity. That is not good at all. So probably I will send a message there to Foster that he needs to do more on that side. So I mean, if he gets paid as a community manager, he should manage the community every day, probably. Yeah, that's at least what I would do if I was the community manager. Yeah. So, let's see. Hey, Tom, what is going on? Hey, good to see you. You still on Eve? On Eve? On EV? On Veve? Oh yeah, I'm still on Veve. I have. Right. Let's see here. Let me quickly go into full cam mode and pull up Stacker. Then I can show you. Log in, continue with X. Give me a second. I'm almost there. So there we go. Okay, so here's Stacker dashboard. My collectibles down from where we were, $400. Painful, but it is what it is, right? Also because I crafted the desk, and the desk is not as much worth as the pencils that I used to craft. But I got the 660 mint, and I did buy, before the year's end, I did buy the snow globe stamp here for $1 only, I think. So I almost did a 100% return here, then you deduct the fees and it's only 80. But yeah, you see here some transfers, and I got my present here, which is a nice and juicy $350 floor. Yeah. So yeah, prices took a hit. But that's normal when the crypto market is rallying. People are trying to drag out even more money. Plus, there's still the old known mechanisms draining the liquidity up from the market. Yeah, you like stamps? I got 777. I just buy something when it's super cheap on the floor. So what I do is, when you have stacker, I go to collections and then I just sort the floor price of everything that is there, and then I scroll past the non-listed collectibles. So for example, you see here stuff that Dr. Profit owns, right? It's just not listed on the market. And when I scroll past it, you see here, for example, what can we get for $1, right? And then I look through these. There are some collectibles, like some comics, that are headed towards $1 once again. And sometimes I see something that I like, and that is only $1, and then I buy it. For example, if you look at the scarcity on this side plus the super low price, you can sometimes find collectibles that have a very... So for example, this stands out, right? 139 only has 6,000 editions, but there's better. Yesterday I saw some in this price range that are only 3,000 editions. So for example here, Captain America, 149, only 3,000 editions. Oh, you cannot see it, sorry about that here. 3,000 editions, here you see the editions. And let me put myself up here. And yeah, so this is one way of finding something that could be doing better if the market goes crazy, right? Dino Dragon says, is Omi just a soft rug? I don't think so, because if it was, then, I mean, depends on how you define a soft rug. Was Ecomi used to finance a lot of Veve endeavors? Yes. Is it a rug pull? I don't think so, honestly. Not more than other altcoins that are used to fund a project. But the shilling around Ecomi versus what really happened in terms of utility to the project is pretty insane. So you could argue. So let's say, I would say it is a soft rug if they don't bring anything like exchanges and utility throughout 2024 into 2025, so that the price goes up significantly. If they don't deliver on Ecomi, then for sure it's a rug pull, and then it's not a soft one. Yeah, it's just not a quick one. It's a slow rug, but not a soft one. That would be the case. Yeah. So there are a lot of coins out there that never gets the utility that they promise, and if Omi is one of them, that would be really, really bad, right? But that would also kill Veve, so they cannot afford to do that. Right now, Veve has to do something so that the community doesn't turn against them. TomTom says, I got a Vader book 501. I wish there was a better market so I can sell and play on Veve again. Yeah, the market will only return in the end of the year, I feel. And it depends, right? So right now, no one cares about NFTs. So everyone cares about altcoins, and for the next 10 months or so, at least 10 months, everyone will look for the next 100x altcoin, right? Dino Dragon says, only thing driving the coin is hopium. Utility is due hoping they have something good that they haven't talked about yet. I think it's not about what they've talked about or not. they have talked about one thing, OMI to NFT. OMI to NFT that burns from circulating supply. If they implement that, you are back in the game. Then you have a deflationary token with direct utility into the Veve app, direct connection to the brands, and that's basically it, right? If they bring MCP and bronze ticket utility, then OMI has somewhat of a utility. Then you can talk about this as a content creator. You can say, hey, look, this token really has utility. It ties to the app. You buy a share, you stake it, and you get something out of it. That is some part of the utility. What they then need is exchanges. They have to take some of the money and pay exchanges to list the OMI token. That's the only way you get liquidity for the OMI token. If they ever want to sell their own bags, they have to do that. Yeah. So that is something that they need to achieve. That's the only two things. OMI to NFT, in my opinion, and exchanges is the only thing necessary to have the project Moon. It's the only thing, in my opinion. Yeah. So what right now keeps the coin at where it is whales and hopium, as Dino says. Yeah, that's true. TomTom says Veve took away transfers and it killed the market. Not the transfer functionality killed the market. What they did is they drained the market intentionally. So every gem in market cap or every gem in circulation in the secondary market is a bad gem in the eyes of Veve, because it's a gem that they do not have as a revenue for their licensors or for themselves. So what they did is, when they saw that there was an insane amount of market cap, like really insane amount of gems left over in the app, they thought, how do we get them out? And what they did is they increased the edition sizes, and they made it so that people were buying a lot on drops on primary market. So that led to a dilution of collectibles, and at the same time, every buy on every purchase on the primary market is direct 100% revenue of those gems. So what they did is, people that took profit on the secondary market, they made them take these gems, and because everyone was so excited, and buy on primary with that, which took out all of those gems. It's not the cash out in itself, but it is the dilution of the market, and then they diluted the market too much so that people didn't or weren't excited anymore in the drops, because no one could do flipping, which then basically killed the entire sentiment, right? So that is what they did wrong. And the only way to kickstart sentiment again is, in my opinion, to have very scarce drops at the same time with crypto cash in. So that you have all the degens that are now multi-millionaires from Pepe can put some money and buy some Miles Morales collectibles, and some other collectibles, some golden moments, which makes price go up. And if the price goes up, everyone sees the opportunity and speculates on how much it can go up, and then they will buy again on primary to dump on secondary, which then will have the entire market to do well if a lot of people are missing out then on those drops because they are still scarce, which will make people to buy on secondary and price go up, and will make people to load up gems and have gems left over for the secondary. That is the only way that they can get the sentiment back. And this will only happen if they open up to crypto cash in at the same time as there are a lot of altcoin profits in the market. Because the last time that we had this NFT season, this Veve bull run, was when the last altcoin season happened, which is the degen altcoin season, in the end, when Bitcoin already topped out and we are basically already in a bear market. So that is how the mechanic works, and I think it will come back. And I think that is the only thing is how how strong can they bring it back? How much can they bring the sentiment back to have people buy a lot of NFTs again, right? And I think that's a combination of crypto cash in and bringing a lot of the milestones and Vivverse being good and Omi integration to get a lot of crypto people interested in the project. Yeah. So Dino says, yeah, that's what's scary because they don't use it at all. They sell gems. Why not use what they get of gems and use Omi only? Yeah, because right now they couldn't. So until they went to a mobile version of the app, they couldn't do that because Apple and Android Play Store and App Store, they didn't allow the integration of crypto. Otherwise, you would be delisted from the App Store. But now they have the version for the web version for a smartphone as well. So now there is a basis for doing that. But before, they couldn't do it without killing their own app. Transfers are vital to bringing on family and friends. Yeah, 100% agree with you. The only problem is that transfers were exploited before, so they have to find a mechanism to bring transfers back. Transfers are not only back for family and important for family and friends, but for collectors in general, because it means that you can send, hey, I sent this to you and you sent this to me. But what happens for Veve? If Veve is greedy enough, they will say, we are not making any cuts on such transfers, right? So they want that you buy something from someone for a larger amount and then that this someone buys something from you so that they can cut on the exchange. So probably if they re-enable transfers, they will enable a transfer fee on top of it. Veve NFT market was nothing compared to Bored Apes, but Bored Apes was on ETH and tradable. Yeah, 100%. And Bored Apes was 100% interoperable. But you have to see that it's not. I mean, Bored Apes are still more expensive, but for example, take a Miles Morales collectible, something like that, it goes for $12,000 in a bear market or $15,000 in a bear market. Secret Rare Spider-Man collectible going for 5,000. That's like 2-3 ETH in a bear market. That's not too bad. So it's not that these collectibles in itself, everything, like Veve has the perfect fundamentals. It has the perfect fundamentals. They only need to put in the right mechanics because they have the best licenses and collectibles of them all. They only have to stop fucking around and starting to really implement utility now for the people that are collecting and investing on the app. Otherwise, they can bury their app. There will never be, without increasing prices, there will never be excitement about the collectibles. And this is a whole nother discussion for another day, because there are a lot of people that believe that the price shouldn't have to do anything with collecting, yet everyone is collecting valuable stuff in the real world. And if a Rolex wasn't worth anything on the market, no one would buy it, right? So, yeah. But anyways, guys, I have to jump. It was a nice discussion here. Thank you, TomTom, for that. And Dino Dragon, thank you. Make sure to smash up the like button. Subscribe to the channel, tick that little bell to always get notified whenever I upload a video or start a live stream. And guys, very important is if you want to support this channel, you can become a channel member. I would appreciate it. Or use the super thanks button to support the channel in a little bit of a way. Yeah, so we do not have to take the shitty sponsorship deals, right? But other than that, I will be here tomorrow for Crypto Morning Coffee. There is a Vechain video coming up today, so stay tuned for that one. And yeah, wherever you are on the world, have yourself a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon.